Welcome to Valencia for the final round of MotoGP in 2018. 8 months ago we started in Qatar, feels like a long time ago. I'm here with Matt Burt and Simon Crafar. Somehow we've got to try and sum up everything that's happened today into between 8 and 10 minutes. We'll do our best. So today we've had a fantastic Moto3 race, a fantastic Moto2 race and MotoGP. You would be forgiven for thinking with the championship done, guys, that we'd be in for maybe a boring day. Not so. We start off with MotoGP, a rain hit MotoGP, and Matt, I am going to start with you. What on earth happened out there today? Unbelievable drama with the rainfall. Alex Rins shooting off like a bolt at the start, and then just carnage ensued. Riders falling off left, right and centre. So much drama. The craziest of crazy ways to bring down 2018. See if you're right, Alex Rins, fantastic start for him on the factory Suzuki. 4.5 seconds clear he was at one stage before the rain really did start to pour down. The conditions deteriorated really quickly. We lost Jack Miller, we lost Danilo Petrucci, Maverick Vinales, Marc Marquez. So many good guys with a lot of wet weather experience, fast guys in the rain, were caught out by those conditions. It was inevitable that the race was going to get halted. The sensible decision to bring out the red flag, but that was just the start of the drama, wasn't it? It really was, Simon. We saw Rins go away at the front, Dovizioso chase, Marc Marquez embroiled in a battle with Pole. Big crash for him, unusual to see Marc go down. Le Mans last year was the last time we actually saw an error, if you like, from Marc, where he didn't finish the race.
To be fair on Marc, I think you could see, because he had that medium rear tyre on it, which was harder than everyone else, and it probably was the right tyre at the beginning of the race, but the rain got heavier, and you could see, because Pol Espargaro, how he could drive around. He was almost driving around the outside, and he clearly had more rear grip, because that corner is all about how much throttle you can put into that rear tyre. So I think, well, Marc did have a couple of warnings, and I think that rear tyres just caught him out in the conditions, you know. But at the same time, I felt sorry for Valentino as well, because as the conditions got worse, he started to come forward, didn't he, you know? And the thing is, that is about today. As a rider, it was so difficult, because standing in the pit lane, it'd drizzle a little bit and then start heavy rain, and next minute it'd stop, you know, a few minutes later. And I think on track it was really hard to gauge how fast to go when it was constantly changing. In that first race that we had, we lost Danilo Petrucci, we lost Jack Miller, we lost Maverick Vinales. It was hard work for everyone out there. Then when the restart came, there were some changes made, there were some chances. We have to mention in that first part as well, Pol Espargaro crashed and remounted. So I don't know where to start here. We'll start with the race winner, Dovizioso. Very clever what he did in between the two races, Matt. He knew that he was in trouble with Valentino, and he picked out the right setting there. He's such a smart operator, isn't he, Andrea Dovizioso? He'd understood in the first part of that race exactly what he needed to be stronger and more competitive in the second part. There wasn't much time in between the two legs, but his Ducati team worked their magic. Andrea Dovizioso, we know, Steve, he is always a very strong wet weather rider. You're going to have to go back a long way for the last time there was a wet race in MotoGP when Andrea Dovizioso was not either fighting for the win or he was on the podium. Once he got to the front, broke the shackles of Alex Rins. Really cruel, unfortunate crash for Valentino Rossi. But once he got that 1-2 second buffer, you never really felt like Andrea Dovizioso, despite how tricky the conditions were, he was ever going to leave himself open to a mistake. He always looked like he was very comfortable. Perfect way to bookend the championship. Started on the top step of the podium in Qatar, won the final race today in brilliant fashion in really difficult conditions. Ducati's 50th Grand Prix win in their history as well. Perfect day for them. Suzuki, great result for them again as well. Alex Rins on fire the second half of this season, Simon. Yeah, I hoped he could pull it off, you know, today, a win, because not only for Suzuki, for them to have a win this season, but for him to have his first, you know. But at the end of the day, I'm not disappointed, because Andrea Dovizioso, as they say, the cream rises to the top. He was absolutely perfect today, you know. He made no mistakes, and he's so clever, isn't he? You know, we all enjoy listening to him talk, but for him to come in and make the bike better, figure out with the mechanics to make it better, go back out, again, make no mistakes, he deserved it, didn't he? Absolute class.
Pol Espargaro, what a hero, what a day for KTM. Chan On-Chu won a Moto3 race, unbelievable this morning, on his debut, becomes the youngest ever Grand Prix winner. Miguel Oliveira then goes and wins the Moto2 race, and you're thinking it can't get any better than that for KTM, Matt. But yes, it does.
It did. I mean, who thought it was going to get any better when in that first part of the race, Pol Espargaro was flying through the air. Big crash he had at turn number 13. You've got to say he was pretty fortunate, actually, that his motorcycle was still relatively intact to get him over the line. He was able to make the restart, but boy, when that second opportunity came, did he grasp it with both hands. An unforgettable day for Pol Espargaro, an amazing day for KTM. You know, he was there to pounce when Valentino Rossi made that mistake. You know, he's been through some of the most brutal, toughest times of his entire Grand Prix career this year, Pol Espargaro. I was there at the first test in Sepang, where he had one of the biggest crashes of his career, a 250 km/h crash at Turn 4 in Malaysia. He wasn't starting the season fit. The big crash he had in the warm-up in Brno, crashed again in Aragon. He's barely spent time on that motorcycle this year, Steve, in full working order. So to end the season, a difficult season like that, it just shows that from him and the factory, perseverance really does pay off. Fantastic for him to be on there. Great way for him to end the season, and rewarding all the tireless effort that goes on behind the scenes from KTM. A magic day for KTM. They're so dominant in the off-road sector, as we know. They're really coming to promise as well on tarmac, can't they, as well? So yeah, keep an eye. With Johann Zarco there and extra bikes on the grid next season, KTM are going to be knocking on the door. Special day for KTM, Simon. We have to get a word from you on that.
Well, I've been wishing it for ages. Another one of the manufacturers on the podium, you know. And after the On-Chu win and then Oliveira win in Moto2, I walked past the KTM garage and said to the team manager, Pit Bowyer, all you need is Pol on the podium, you know, to get your flush, you know. And he went, ooh, and I said, let's keep our fingers crossed. And it's not because I'm hoping for Pol to get on the podium, or it was more just to have another manufacturer in this fight.
Gentlemen, before we finish, we have to just quickly talk about Dani Pedrosa. He leaves the paddock. What a hero, a MotoGP legend, and rightly so.
Absolutely. As was said before, Steve, this year it's been an absolute honour, a pleasure and a privilege to follow Dani Pedrosa throughout his entire career. I was fortunate to come in to the World Championship paddock in 1996, a long time actually before Dani first arrived. He's been a fantastic racer on the circuit, a great rival for some of the very best we've seen in the sport, a great ambassador off the track as well. We all wish him very well in his new adventure. I thought today, actually, at one stage, there was going to be that final fairy tale ticket onto the podium. It didn't quite happen, but a brilliant fifth place for Dani. It was a safe and successful way to bring down a fantastic career. Wish him all the best in the future.
Simon, you're all for young blood coming through, but I'm sure you have to doff your cap to Dani.
Dani is, I mean, you guys have been reading statistics over the last days of what he's achieved in his career, and it's absolutely awesome, isn't it? You know, there's very few riders that have been on the podium more than him, and I'm super proud to be here, say goodbye to him, you know, but at the same time, like I always say, it's an exciting time because his spot leaves an opening for someone else to come into the championship, so it's a good all-round, you know.
We obviously have to say farewell to Scott Redding as well. He moves back to Britain, and the best wishes to Alvaro Bautista as well as he embarks on World Superbike. He'll definitely be missed, and his bright coloured hair as he goes across. Before we finish, we've got a test coming up on Tuesday and Wednesday, guys. As quickly as possible, what are you most excited about for the test coming up here in Valencia, which, by the way, is going to be live?
Pretty easy for me. Jorge Lorenzo being Marc Marquez's teammate on the Repsol Honda. A little bit gutted that he's not going to be jumping on that Honda fully fit, but Marc Marquez and Jorge Lorenzo, teammates in HRC next year, roll on 2019.
Simon?
No, I feel totally the opposite because we know Jorge's fast, you know, and we know roughly what's going to happen with his injury. I'm all excited about the KTM, as in Johann Zarco getting on it, and the rookies jumping up a class on the Yamahas, you know. Sorry, I've tongue twisted. Morbidelli and Quartararo. I'm super excited to see those young guys get on the bike. That's what I'm looking forward to seeing.
Well, for me, I'm just really excited that I get to hang out with my buddies for a few extra days. Well, that's all we've got time for here in Valencia. Dates for your diaries. Valencia test broadcast live throughout. We will be hopefully bringing you some after the flag action from Jerez as well. And then, of course, we'll be back in Qatar 2019, March the 10th. That's all we got time for here in Valencia. Thanks for joining us in this 2018 season. 2019 starts now.
has gone yet again. It's over, the red flag is out.
It's gone, red flag now. 14 laps in Valencia, and away we go at the second time. Dovizioso now leads.
Rossi on the deck.
Rossi's gone down from second place. Dovizioso wins the first time ever in Valencia. Second, Alex Rins, and
What a day's been for Red Bull KTM.
Paul Espargaro's first podium.